Bridges are being built around the world that are bigger and more expensive than ever before, connecting communities and fostering unprecedented economic growth. Some are made of steel, suspended in the air, while others are constructed with concrete pillars firmly rooted into the ground. These magnificent structures span vast waterways, traverse rugged terrains, and defy geographical obstacles. In today's video, we're going to count down the top 5 most expensive bridges ever made. Let's begin. Number 1. The Danyang-Kanshan Grand Bridge. The Danyang-Kanshan Grand Bridge is a marvel of modern engineering. It's over 100 miles long and has taken bridge building to a whole new level. Even though it may have lost its title as the world's longest sea-crossing bridge to the recently built Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, it still holds a record and is a world beater. Oh, and it cost about $8.5 billion to build, at around $51 million per mile. The bridge is a cable-stayed bridge that consists of 2 main sections. The Danyang section, which is 32.5 miles long, and the Kanshan section, which is 69.9 miles long. The bridge was designed to allow large ships to pass underneath it, with a clearance of 492 feet. It was primarily built to improve transportation in the Yangtze River Delta region, a major economic hub in China. It is part of the Hangzhou-Nanjing Expressway, which connects the cities of Hangzhou and Nanjing. The bridge reduces travel times between these two cities from around 4 hours to just over an hour, which is impressive. As mentioned, the construction of the Grand Bridge was a major feat of engineering and required the use of some of the most advanced technologies and techniques to get the job done. This bridge was designed to withstand earthquakes, typhoons, and other natural disasters, and it is expected to have a lifespan of over 100 years. The epic journey over the bridge takes in canals, rivers, lowland rice paddies, lakes, and uneven terrain, as well as major cities and towns. It's difficult to understand how engineers were able to design such a phenomenon that undulates to such a degree. But who did design this behemoth bridge? Well, it wasn't some award-winning, world-class designer. Instead, it was the China Road and Bridge Corporation, a subsidiary of the China Communications Construction Company, that was behind the project. This Chinese government-funded company was originally part of the Foreign Aid Office of the Ministry of Communications in China. The company leads major civil engineering projects in China, including highways, railways, bridges, ports, and tunnels. Number 2. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge is a major dual-span bridge in Maryland, in the United States, spanning the Chesapeake Bay. It connects the state's rural eastern shore region with the urban western shore, between Stevensville and the capital city of Annapolis. The original span opened in 1952, and with a length of 4.3 miles, it was the world's longest continuous over-water steel structure. Less than 20 years later, parallel span was added. The Bay Bridge is one of the most important pieces of infrastructure in the region. It is part of U.S. Route 50 and U.S. Route 301, connecting the Baltimore-Washington metropolitan area with Ocean City, Maryland, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and other coastal tourist resort destinations. As a part of U.S. Route 301, it serves as an alternative route for Interstate 95 travelers between northern Delaware and the Washington, D.C. area. In short, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of motorists cross the bridge each day and pay the $4 toll. However, all that comes with a different kind of cost as well. The Bay Bridge is a major point of traffic congestion, and traveling during peak hours guarantees some serious bumper-to-bumper traffic. Because of its height, the narrowness of its spans, the lack of shoulders, the low guard rails, and the frequency of high winds, the Bay Bridge is often cited as one of the scariest bridges in the U.S. Several weather-related incidents have caused complete closures of the bridge, so it's best to avoid this route when the weather gets crazy. In fact, the bridge has been closed a small handful of times due to extreme weather. The first closure was in 2003 during Hurricane Isabel. In 2011, the bridge was closed to all traffic due to the impact of Hurricane Irene when winds howled over the bridge at 55 miles an hour. In 2012, the bridge was closed due to the effects of Hurricane Sandy. And in 2013, during a nasty nor'easter, high winds again caused the bridge to close. Despite these challenges, the bridge is resilient and has undergone multiple expansions. In the end, it has cost taxpayers $778.3 million. Number 3. Tacoma Narrows Bridge. This bridge is living proof that just because you throw a ton of money at a problem doesn't always mean you can solve it. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge cost about $827 million to build and encountered a slew of problems in its day. This bridge is a pair of twin suspension bridges that span the Tacoma Narrows Strait of Puget Sound in Pierce County, Washington. The bridges connect their titular city of Tacoma with the Kitsap Peninsula and carry State Route 16 over the water. The bridge was originally built in 1940, but collapsed, possibly because of a narrow elastic flutter, 4 months later before being replaced in 1950. It still stands today as the westbound lanes of the present-day two-bridge complex. The original iteration of the bridge was named Galloping Jersey due to its extreme movement. This movement was captured on camera, and the footage has been on repeat in American science classrooms and museums for decades. After the infamous fall of the original bridge, Professor Farquharson was commissioned again to test new designs for the bridge at the University of Washington, the home of these models. The tests ensured that the new design would have a different outcome than the first, and construction began on April 12, 1948, following the completion of a financing and insurance plan. A major earthquake struck the construction site on April 13, 1949. But the only damage was to a cable that fell into the water and was recovered. A fire 2 months later on the West Tower damaged equipment and tools, but didn't cause permanent damage. The 502-foot towers were completed in July 1949, and the cables for the new bridge were finished on January 16, 1950. The current westbound bridge was designed and rebuilt with open trusses, stiffening struts, and openings in the roadway to let wind through. It opened in October 1950 and is 5,979 feet long, 40 feet longer than the first bridge. Local residents nicknamed the new bridge Sturdy Jersey, as the oscillations that plagued the previous design had been eliminated. This bridge and its new parallel eastbound bridge are currently the 5th longest suspension bridges in the United States. Number 4. Arthur Ravenel Jr. Bridge. The Arthur Ravenel Jr. Bridge is a cable-stayed bridge over the Cooper River in South Carolina. The bridge is the 3rd longest among cable-stayed bridges in the Western Hemisphere. It consists of 2 diamond-shaped towers, each 575 feet high. The total length of the structure is 13,200 feet, with the main span stretching 1,546 feet between the towers. The deck, suspended 186 feet above the river, is supported by 128 individual cables anchored to the inside of the diamond towers. The roadway consists of 8 12-foot lanes, 4 in each direction, plus a 12-foot bicycle and pedestrian path that runs along the south edge of the bridge, overlooking Charleston Harbor and the Atlantic Ocean. The bridge is as beautiful as it is unique, but the design is quite intentional. The bridge structure is designed to withstand shipping accidents and natural disasters that have plagued the region in the past. It is designed to endure wind gusts in excess of 300 miles an hour, far stronger than those of the worst storm in Charleston's history, 1989's Hurricane Hugo. Engineers also considered the 1886 earthquake that nearly leveled Charleston. The Ravenel Bridge is designed to withstand an earthquake approximately 7.4 a Richter scale without total failure. To protect the bridge from errant and wayward ships, the towers are flanked by 1-acre rock islands. Ships will run aground on these islands before colliding with the towers. The bridge was designed for traffic of 100,000 vehicles per day. It may sound like an unrealistic number, but as of 2018, the bridge saw an average of 96,000 vehicles per day. It's also pretty famous for a bridge and has been featured in all sorts of films, TV shows, and music videos. Plenty of gamers have driven across the bridge at high speeds from the safety of their couch. So, how much did all this cost? Just a cool $836 million. Number 5. The Confederation Bridge. This incredible feat of engineering, known to locals as the Fixed Link, provides the only road link between the province of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick in mainland Canada, stretching an impressive 7.5 miles across the Northumberland Strait. The Confederation Bridge is the longest bridge in Canada and the longest span in the world to extend over seasonally ice-covered waters. It also takes a full 10 minutes to drive across. Believe it or not, this bridge was built in 1997. Despite various proposals for a land link between the provinces starting as early as the 1870s. With the rising costs of ferry service, a proposal by a Nova Scotia businessman was the only one that finally stuck, and the consultation process began. As with any good infrastructure project, there were some who opposed the bridge, citing fears that it would change their little island or possibly endanger the marine ecosystem of the strait. In the end, after an amendment to the Constitution of Canada, a multi-span concrete bridge was greenlit, and construction began. The bridge is a 2-lane bridge that carries the Trans-Canada Highway between Borden-Carleton, Prince Edward Island, and Cape Girardeau, New Brunswick. It's a multi-span, balanced cantilever bridge with a post-tension concrete box girder structure. Most of the curved bridge stands 131 feet above the water, with a 197-foot navigation span for ship traffic. The bridge sits on 62 piers, 44 of which stand 820 feet apart from one another. The speed limit on the bridge is a cool 50 miles an hour, but can vary with winds and weather conditions. As originally hoped, the eye-catching bridge did indeed facilitate an increase in tourism and remains a vital connection between the nation and its smallest province. A toll bridge, it costs just under $50 to cross with the average vehicle. Interestingly, cyclists and pedestrians are not permitted on this narrow bridge due to safety concerns, but a shuttle is available to ferry them across. In all, the Confederation Bridge cost $967 million to build. This is the end of this video. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe to this channel. You don't want to miss out on the other videos we have for you. So click that notification bell to get notified once we drop new videos.